I am so excited to do this year-long bingo. I have used the majority of my physical TBR to create my picks for each bingo square. So let's just dive right into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I am ready to get into this year-long bingo. Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy has created this year-long bingo board that runs from November 1st, 2025 to November 1st, 2026. I, of course, will leave her channel and her announcement video down below because in her description box of her announcement video, it has the bingo squares, all of the prompts, and so much information. I have competed in a few different bingo type reading challenges. I used to do the R fantasy bingo that was created over there on Reddit, but I am not a huge fantasy forward reader. I love my romantasy. I just always feel like I need romance in my books, just me as a personal reader. So I stopped doing that year-long bingo because I found it harder and harder to find romantasy books to meet each and every prompt. Now, I was so excited whenever I saw Cassidy come up with this concept and announce it to everybody. I immediately started thinking about what books I would put in which prompts, and I'm so excited that it has already started and I am just ready to dive into all of these new books. Before we get into it though, I am going to preface this. There are a couple squares that I am going to need your help on. I am going to need your recommendations, and hopefully I can find a book within those recommendations that I am looking forward to reading. In a classic bingo game, you do not have to read every prompt or square, which would make it a blackout board. I, of course, will be doing that only because I want to fulfill each and every prompt. I couldn't just pick one row. But you can do just diagonally, straight across, up and down if you want to, if you do not want to read that many romantasy books. And of course, there will be easy mode and hard mode, but I will be completing this all on hard mode if possible. Let's dive in to the first row. The first prompt is to read a new release published in the year that I read it, and the hard mode is debut author. I have not put anything in for this prompt because I don't know if I'm going to be getting to a new release debut author this year or if I will be getting to it next year, so I kind of left it open and was going to just read when the time comes and fulfill that prompt because I do know that I love reading debut authors, so this won't be a very hard space for me to fill. The next prompt is hidden identity, and the hard mode is not royalty. So this one was a little bit hard for me to find because I wanted to use books that were on my physical TBR so that way I can start clearing some more space for myself throughout the year. And I found Wings So Wicked by Emily Blackwood. This one I read the synopsis on, and she is an assassin where she goes into this like academic setting and she gets paired up with this angel. I think he's supposed to be like a bad angel, but she is not supposed to give away who she is or why she is there. So I figured that would hit the not royalty prompt, and she of course is hiding the identity of being an assassin. The next prompt on the first row is Take Down the System. Plot revolves around rebellions and revolutions, and hard mode is a dystopian setting. I'm going to take the easy way out on this one since I don't own anything physical dystopian setting wise. That's typically not a genre that I lean into. So I am going to put the sequel to Silver Elite, which is, I believe, Broken Dove by Danny Francis. I will be reading this as soon as it comes out. I absolutely loved Silver Elite, so I cannot wait to get to Broken Dove and find out how we're going to be taking down the system, the corrupt, and it is a dystopian setting. The next prompt on that top row is BIPOC author, and the hard mode is flowers on the cover. I may have stretched this just a little bit, but I really wanted to read something by this author which I have never read from before, and I had this book on my physical TBR for a while, so I thought now is just the time to get to it, and that is When the Stars Come Out by Scarlett St. Clair. Granted, there are no flowers on the cover. However, there are flowers on the edges of this copy that I have of the book. So I use that as part of the cover because you could see it, right? I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but I have been wanting to get rid of some books that have been sitting on my TBR for quite a while, and this definitely would work. The next prompt is first person and the hard mode is new to you author. So I just got this book in my October boxes that I had gotten in, but that is Thorn Season by Kiera Azar, I think is how you say her name. However, I have been really looking forward to reading this because it sounds so intriguing to me, and I did read a little bit of the first chapter. It does seem to be in first person. All right, moving on to the second row. The first prompt is blank of blank. So the title needs to be exactly blank of blank, and the hard mode is not Fae. In the comments below to let me know if I hit the mark or if I didn't, but from what I can tell, I think I did. So I'm gonna go with Worthy of Fate by A.N. Caudle. From what I've read of the synopsis, it doesn't sound like it is Fae. However, I do not know. So let me know in the comments below if I need to adjust this book or the prompt. I'm definitely gonna be putting this on there because I really want to read it. I have heard so many good things. The next prompt on the second row is Indie to Trad Pipeline. Book series was indie published but was picked up traditionally. Hard mode is it's a sequel. Now I know that in Cassidy's video she mentioned that the second book did not have to be indie published, just the first one. So I am gonna put on there Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. Fear the Flames was originally indie published, then it did get picked up traditionally and rewrote. So I cannot wait to get to this because I need to be back in this world with these characters. I loved so many things about it and I am desperate to continue this series. The next prompt on the second row, I am gonna need your help a little bit on this one. This one is Rep Matters, a book that has some sort of representation in it, and hard mode is that it is the author's own voices for that representation. An author that has OCD and writes about a character having OCD in the book. I really need your help on this. I would love to read more of these types of books because it does bring awareness to so many different things, and I love it whenever authors write from what they know. So leave me some comments below. Let me know some books that would fit this prompt for hard mode. The next prompt on that second row is start a new series, and the hard mode is that the author writes in multiple genres. This one was very difficult for me because the ones that I kept gravitating towards, I've already read all of the books in the series that they have. So I was like, which one can I do? And I thought, what about Jennifer L. Armentrout, who has wrote, I think, some romance books and fantasy romance. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think she has. And so I decided to put Half-Blood on here because I do want to give Jennifer L. Armentrout a second shot. I didn't necessarily like her from Blood and Ash series. I got to the fourth book and I kind of just was done at that point. Let me know below, does this one hit the prompt or do I need to change this to another one? And then the last prompt on the second row is urban setting, and the hard mode is a secondary world that is not ours. I again do not know if this is going to hit hard mode, so again in the comments let me know if I need to change this out. Give me some recommendations. But I put The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. I know that this is an urban setting and I know that it's not part of our world, but I'm just wanting to make sure that I hit the hard mode on this. And I have heard so many good things about this book, and I know the second book has already come out, or at least it will be coming out. I don't remember what the exact day is. So row 3 starts off with a really good prompt, and it is ghosts and ghouls. So hard mode is the love interest is one. I think that either one of these books is going to hit that hard mode. I just don't know which one I'm going to actually read because they are standalones by the same author. So I have Library of Shadows by Rachel Moore, and I also have Us in Ruins by Rachel Moore. Both of these I really want to read. I really want to read Us in Ruins because it is in a setting of Pompeii, and I really love Pompeii and the history, but I want to read one of these. So let me know if you have read these. Do they hit that hard mode prompt? The next prompt there in the third row is voice inside your head, and the hard mode is not an animal companion. I'm kind of getting the easy way out of this, and I'm putting Brimstone by Callie Hart because our female main character can talk with the metal Quicksilver, and so I think it hits hard mode, and I've been really wanting to read Brimstone the moment it releases. So I thought, you know what, let's just put it on here. The next prompt is a friend rec, and the hard mode is a recommendation that is from Cassidy's channel. Now, I cannot remember if she has recommended this or not. I think she has because I think she loved it. And I'm going to put Direbound by Sable Sorensen on here. I have heard so many people loving this. It's kind of like compared to Fourth Wing, but with dire wolves, and that has me intrigued. But I really want to read this, and I do think she has read it and loved it. And I know a lot of people have. The next prompt there in the third row is book talk hype, and the hard mode is still indie at the time of reading it. Now, this one I do not have a book to put on there because they are just being picked up so quickly. So I'm just going to be filling this as the year goes on, and hopefully I can stay up with the trends because I don't have TikTok, so I don't know what is trending on TikTok. Maybe you guys can let me know down below. Are there any books that are being hyped right now that aren't in the talks of being published yet that I could probably squeeze in? I'm always down for some recommendations. The last prompt in the third row is Forbidden Romance, and the hard mode is not enemies to lovers. So this one was a little hard to find, but I think I'm going to put Autumn's Tithe by Hannah Parker on there. I've had this on my TBR again for a few years now. I need to get to it. And from what I read on the synopsis, it is a mortal girl who goes to this realm or this academic setting or somewhere, and she becomes friends with the Prince of the Autumn court who owes her a debt, and I think it's going to be their romance, and of course it's forbidden because you have fae and mortals, so we'll see how that goes. I've been really wanting to get to this one. Row 4 starts off with Trials, and the hard mode is an academic setting. I'm going to be putting on Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. I've heard mixed reviews about this book. I've heard that some people love it, some people don't like it, so I'm intrigued to get into it. This is a gorgeous edition that I have as well, so I'm excited to see what I think of this book, and it sounds very intriguing to me. The next prompt in the fourth row is 2+ love interests, and the hard mode is not a love triangle. I read a lot of Why Choose books, so that's not going to be hard for me. But the one that I decided to put on here was Warrior Assassin, or Warrior, a Princess Assassin. Why is that so hard to say? By Bridget Kimmerer. I have heard this is a poly romance, so it's not a love triangle. I am so ready to dive into this because I have heard so many good things, and it just sounds right up my alley. The next prompt on that fourth row is Single POV, and the hard mode is published 5 or more years ago. Cassidy really made this a little bit difficult, and I love it because it makes you look at what you want to read, look at what has been out there, or maybe that has been sitting on your shelves for so long. So I decided to put Gravebriar by Casey L. Bond. This book was written in 2020, so it definitely hits that 5-year prompt, and it is single POV. So I have met Casey L. Bond, and she is absolutely amazing and a lovely, nice author, and I cannot wait to read one of her earlier works. The next prompt is court setting, and the hard mode is with an animal on the cover. This one was a little bit difficult and I am stretching it a bit again. I am going to be putting A Sword of Shadow and Deceit by Lucinda Dark because this edition I think came from Butterfly Book Box, and you can tell that there's no animal on the cover. However, on the actual hardcover, there is a spider. That's an animal. Some people have them as pets. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but again, this is another book that has been sitting on my TBR for I think a year and a half or 2 years. I really want to get to it as well. And the last prompt in the 4th row is A Whole New World. Main character is transported somewhere like a portal fantasy, but the hard mode is that it is a retelling or a reimagining. Again, I'm getting away a little bit on the easy mode on this, and I am putting the 4th book to the Beasts of the Briar series by Elizabeth Helen, which is Broken by Daylight, I believe. I haven't read the 4th book in preparation of book 5 coming out, so I definitely need to get to that, and so I need to read it, so why not just put it on here? All right, the final row, the first prompt is Reluctant Allies to Lovers, and the hard mode is A Marriage of Convenience. Again, I need to implore your help, and please just give me recommendations on this because I was thinking about putting the next book in Under the Oak Tree by Suji Kim. It is a marriage of convenience, but it isn't really a reluctant allies to lovers because they get married because it is convenient for her to marry him and like kind of bring her family into more power. So it's more of an arranged marriage. So I guess it wouldn't have worked anyway. But I definitely need your recommendations down below. This one is a little bit hard to find. The next one is one word title and the hard mode is Gothic. This one was extremely difficult for me, not because I don't have any Gothic setting books, but because the titles are never one word. So I'm very glad I hadn't read this yet. So I'm going to put Anathema by Carrie Lake on here. Very Gothic. I am so ready to get to this and dive into another work of Carrie Lake's because she's hit or miss for me. So I'm excited to see what this one's about. The next prompt is Shifter Romance and the hard mode is Not Werewolves. Now, I don't like really werewolf shifter romances, so that was okay for me. But finding a shifter romance that was on my physical TBR is extremely hard. I don't know why, but I think I'm stretching this a bit, but I'm gonna see if it will work. And this one is A Thorn in Every Heart, and this is by Kate King. I see that he has wings. I'm gonna assume he's fae. I'm kind of assuming that's like a shifter type romance because no one's just walking around with just wings. Like he has to shift into that. But let me know down below, will this work? Will this not work? Should I replace it? Am I stretching this a little bit too far? I don't know. Let me know down below. The next book is an obvious stretch, but I need to read it, and so I need to get it on here. And the next prompt is Weapon on the cover, and the hard mode is the main character is powerless. So I need to read the next book in the Powerless trilogy, which is Fearless, and my version is the Waterstones version. She's clearly brandishing a sword, so I think that I'm stretching this a bit, but that's my version that I have, and I think I'm gonna go with it. Let me know again, should I replace this or is this okay? The next prompt in this bingo board is a chunky series, which is a series that's 4 or more books. You can read any book in that series, but the hard mode is that the world or the series is interconnected with another. So think Cosmere, but Romantasy. So I have been talking about wanting to get to this book for so long. I just fit it on here, and that is Reign of Shadow and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick, because the Lady of Darkness series is 5 books long. This one I think is 4 books long, so it definitely counts. I want to get to this book. I have been dying to see what the legacies are about, dive more into their world and meet them, see what they got going on. And I don't know, maybe some of our characters might make a cameo. All right, everyone, those are all the books that I have on this year-long Romantasy bingo board. Let me know down below, are you going to be completing any of the bingo squares with me during this year-long time? I am so very thankful for Cassidy for making this because there's a lot of bingo challenges out there, but none that are year-long and that are Romantasy focused, which is what I love to read. So definitely check my description box, go check out Cassidy's channel and see her announcement video so you can get caught up and join us if you would like to. Leave me comments down below for any recommendations or books that maybe I should swap. And if you do not want to leave me a comment, but at least let me know you are here, leave me a sword emoji, a knife, whatever you find for the Romantasy genre. I love to know that you've made it all the way to the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, I will see you then. Bye!